Hey guys, welcome back. I'm going to try with a thicker mix now. That last one I did this morning was a little bit too thin for me. This one, you may remember that one from this morning. So today I'm going to be I'm doing some experimenting with PVA wood glue and Floetrol and water. So this mix that I'm using now is 4 parts PVA, 1 part Floetrol to 1 part water, and then I'm using 4 parts of the mixed pouring medium to 1 part Liquitex Basics. This is a much thicker paint than the Joe Sonias that I was using earlier today. So we are going to get a thicker mix with that same pouring medium ratio, so I'll try that. So first of all, I'm just going to spray inside my dirty pour cup with silicone spray. Give that a wipe, the excess out. It just makes it easier for the paint to be emptied out. So I've got some white, that is chroma. It's a highly pigmented paint. And then, as I said before, we've got the Liquitex Basics and treadmill oil lubricant. So we've got some green, some light blue, some darker blue, orange and Prussian blue. The Prussian blue is Atelier and the others are all Liquitex Basics. So I've put 3 drops of silicone oil in the colours, no silicone in the white. Alright, so I'm going to start layering the cup. White first. I'm going to do darkest to lightest. I'm just going to pour them in. I won't worry too much about putting them in gently on top of each other. We'll just see what it does when they mix up a little bit more. A bit of orange, a little bit of light green, back to white. I do want a relatively full cup because I don't want to have to stretch the paint too much, so that will be plenty, I would think. So the less paint you have in your cup, the more you have to tilt. You don't really want to tilt and lose all your cells. So this is quite a thick mix. I'm not sure how it's going to react. We'll wait and see. This one that I did this morning was just, as I said, too thin. So the cells haven't held their shape, they're a bit loose looking. So using the same pouring medium mix that I used earlier, but a thicker paint. The Liquitex Basics is a thicker paint, so we should get a thicker mix. When you pull your cup up, don't let it drip in the centre. So that's sitting quite well there, it's not spreading too much, so you can already see that it's quite thick. So I'm going to torch it, see what happens. Don't get too close to your paint, you don't want to burn it, you don't want to melt it. If you melt it, it's going to go all out of shape. This is quite thick, so the heat's going to take a while to penetrate through the paint. So just keep it moving. Keep your torch moving, don't put it in one spot for too long and you'll burn your paint. Got some lacing happening there with the orange. I'm using using the Liquitex Basics today because I don't really like using PVA glue with the global paints, which I usually use. I have found that the global paints tend to split, kind of looks like it's curdled. Alright, so I'm going to tilt this, see if we can cover this whole card. Over the edge. Bring the weight back to the centre. Don't really like the look of these cells. This is what happens when your mix is too thick. They're not circular, they're kind of wobbly, if that makes sense. And that's what happens if you've got too much PVA and your mix is too thick. Anyway, we'll continue, see what happens. Just experimenting today. Back down to the other corner. Bring the weight back to the centre and then down to the last corner. A little bit of paint left, not much, because that silicone spray does help to get all the paint out of the cup. Not much left in there. Let's do that last corner. You can see what I mean with the cells, they're not circular, they're kind of broken. And that is what happens with too much PVA glue, or your mixture's too thick, you'll get that. Okay, there we go. Torch it again, see if anything else will happen. The air bubbles here. There's a few little cells coming up, but not many. The silicon's already at the surface, so once the silicon comes to the surface, you won't get any more cells happening. Okay, so that's a very similar reaction that the global paints give with the PVA. Yeah, not particularly nice looking cells. Kind of wobbly, but yeah, so anyway, that's Liquitex and PVA. So I will be back with another experiment shortly. Bye for now.